Right. What did you learn, as you haven't been able to beat Watford in 2 trips there? What have you learnt in those 2 games that you can take into this replay to hopefully get you over the line against them?
Lots. Obviously, we learn lots from every game. That's the way we work, really. So yeah, it's an interesting game. Obviously, we made a few changes for the second game because we felt it was right to do that. And again, there'll more than likely be changes tomorrow night from Saturday's game. So, which I said before, it's really important that all the lads are up to speed and ready to contribute. It's a huge month, obviously, coming up and beyond. So yeah, I think it's important that we're now at home. So we've not played them at home yet. We've obviously been very good at home. We need to start the game probably a little bit cleaner than we did in the away game. It was to be expected. Lots of new players on the pitch playing together for the first time. For it to be a little bit messy. Obviously, I think we went in at half time with 70% of the ball or something like that. So to say it was messy, it wasn't that particularly. But obviously, we'd like to be cleaner and a little bit better in attack. So yeah, I think we need to start the game better tomorrow night and go from there, really.
When you're balancing, and the unbeaten run almost becomes a factor in everyone's heads now. So when you're balancing wanting to give players time but not wanting to lose because you've got this wonderful momentum at the moment and surge that everybody's in the same direction with this unbeaten run and they're going up to second, is it a harder balance the longer it goes on to pick the team to make sure you don't lose but rest players?
I don't think so. I think obviously we want to win the game. We want to win whatever game's next. The run has been obviously brilliant, and we want to continue that. But it's just it's a nice thing that's going alongside what the lads are doing at the moment. The lads deserve so much credit. Obviously, they've been brilliant to go that amount of time. I think we'll always look at big picture, what's best for the squad. Russ and obviously the staff have 20, 25, 26 players to manage, not just the 11. So it's really important that we have everyone with us going in the right direction, and there will be a balance to be had for minutes, especially with the amount of games coming up. So that needs to be managed. But yeah, win the next game is the most important. Obviously, it continues the run if we can. But yeah, that's a sort of an afterthought rather than the main priority is to make sure we continue this run. We want to do it naturally by winning the next game.
Yeah. The other balance, of course, is there's no doubt that you were better when you brought on the 4 players after the hour at Watford that had been starting in the league games and things notched up a level. And Russell said, you don't find out until you put the players on. And I guess the other balance is, do you give them another chance or did they blow their chance and you have to bring other players in? So, some players you might look at and go, well, I mean, and he's been very good at being loyal to players who've played well and stayed on the pitch, and like there'll be maybe some players champing at the bit to play.
Yeah, I think your point regarding the subs coming on, I think that could be a factor. The last half an hour of games could be a factor. Obviously, we put loads of work into opposition players, so whether we'd made them subs or not, the last half an hour could have looked like that regardless. So I think obviously there's an impetus of subs coming on and having an impact. Obviously, a different group have done that in the league games, coming on and done well. We've mentioned it before about the subs having a huge impact regarding goal involvement. So there's all sort of factors go into it. But I think we obviously see the lads train every day. I mentioned before that trying to keep a whole squad happy. The lads are in such a good place, and the more players we have in a good place, the better. So that'll definitely be a factor when we pick the team for tomorrow night.
And of course, your competition for places is ratcheting up. It was thin, it seemed like about a month ago, and now you've got 2 players in, Brooksy and Joe. Now you've got players seemingly close to coming back to fitness, Sam and Camaldine. James Bree, are all 3 of those in contention of being in the squad yet? I mean, might you use the cup to give at least Sam or someone some game time from those been injured?
Yeah, Camaldine and Breezy are not ready for tomorrow, but soon. Breezy's not been on the grass with us yet, so he's going to be a little bit longer than say Camaldine. Sam, obviously in the squad at the weekend, which is brilliant to have him back. So it gives us some real strength now, obviously with Brooksy coming. unfortunately Brooksy can't play tomorrow, but yeah, there's real strength in depth. I think that the two new faces and the lads coming back from injury has been great timing. I just think it's the lads that are playing now know they need to continue to play well. I think freshness of faces coming in the building is always a good thing for the group in the dressing room. I think it just freshens things up, and competition's always great. And the lads are really together, which is also brilliant. So it's a nice, high quality problem to have. Russ would call it, I'd imagine. And I'm glad he has to deal with it and not me.
Just finally from me, how much of a carrot is the Liverpool chance of going to Anfield? And obviously some of the players will have played there in the Premier League for years, some may never have played there. And I'm thinking also from the perspective of you as a coaching team, because you've been together a while now, and you love pitting your wits against things and showing. And I just thought, I can imagine Russell loving the idea of trying to take on a pressing Liverpool side in Klopp's team. Is that a nice incentive for you lot? I know it's another game and it's an away game and a busy spell, but come on, how much of a carrot is it, the thought of playing Liverpool at Anfield for you lot?
Oh, it's a huge carrot. Obviously, we've been getting a few messages from some friends and family that would like to maybe go. My dad especially, he's a Liverpool fan. But obviously it would be, and it has the added sort of extra of Jurgen Klopp's last season as well. So I think that has definitely been spoken about. But obviously there's a huge job to do tomorrow night. I think, like you said, a lot of the lads would have played there loads. Some of the boys haven't. I've actually never been there on a match day to be involved in a game. Obviously been there a few times to watch, but so yeah, there's all sorts. Dino's an Evertonian, so I'm sure he'd love to go and watch, go there and beat Liverpool. So, but it's sort of a side issue that we know that tomorrow night's the most important. It'd be brilliant to go there. It obviously adds another game into the fixture list that's already busy, but it'd be a nice problem to have.
Your dad won't be happy if you knock him out of the FA Cup in his last season in charge of Liverpool.
I'm not too sure who'd want to win if we did get through, but no, it'd obviously be a brilliant thing to go there on a Wednesday night. And, but yeah, we'll see.
Good man, thank you.
Right. Brilliant, thanks Adam. Moving on to the section for 10:30 tonight.
Adam's covered most of the stuff last week, but
good.
I suppose nobody wanted a replay, I imagine, when you went into the game at Vicarage Road. But now that it's here and it's tomorrow night, how do you sort of assess the balance of pros and cons? The pros are you give a chance to players who wouldn't necessarily have a chance, but probably 2 or 3 of the defenders are going to have to play another game, given the sort of lack of depth in that area.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, nobody wanted a replay. Let's get it right. Nobody did. But when you're 1-0 down with 10 minutes left, you'd have taken one, because we were just desperate to obviously stay in the cup, continue unbeaten. So yeah, it's a huge balancing act. We've had loads of discussion this morning. We were in nice and early. Obviously, we watched Saturday's game back. That's the first thing we do on a Monday. And even during that, we were discussing what we should perhaps do tomorrow night. Wait to see how the lads roll up this morning regarding any knocks and issues like that. So yeah, it's a tricky one with, say, the lack of depth in a couple of positions, but the squad is good enough, and obviously the squad's actually excellent. So there's plenty in there to make a few changes and the team not to look any different. I think that's what we pride ourselves on, that the team shouldn't look any different regardless of who's playing. Everybody gets information. The way we work with the team, the units and individual meetings, that the team should never look any different, and that's something that we pride ourselves on. So yeah, whoever gets an opportunity, obviously it's brilliant for them to get minutes on the pitch, and try and get us into the next round.
You mentioned sort of first looking back at the Saturday's game this morning. Russell always mentions that Sunday is obviously a time just to have a day off and spend some time with his kids. He gives the impression that you can switch off almost completely. I'm sure he thinks about it throughout the day as well. What about yourself? Are you able to switch off on that Sunday, or are you thinking about what's going to come Monday morning?
Yeah, I can switch off. I think I've been at clubs which has been done differently, working under different staff. Like, with the Tuesday game, lots of managers would have the staff and the players in on a Sunday. I think the cashback you get regarding the psychological freshness, regardless of the physical load and coming in for recovery. Obviously, we've got brilliant facilities here, so so the squad are really looked after. But I think that time at home, waking up, not being in a rush to get in, breakfast with your family. I had a brilliant day yesterday. I watched my boy play football in the morning, and then went to St Mary's and watched the women play. So with my daughter, so it was so a brilliant day, and it does give you an opportunity to come in on a Monday re-energised and ready to go again. Our working week looks like we have match day -2 off. So on a Thursday for a Saturday game, we're normally off. So Sunday's no different. It's a -2. But yeah, I think you get loads of cash back for the lads, their families, mental freshness. I think it's a really nice way of doing it, and I know the lads are probably sick of seeing us and hearing our voices a lot. So another day off is perfect.
Speaking of freshness, there's nothing you can do about it, but given how good he was against Swansea, the fact that David Brooks can't play in the Cup, is it a bit of a shame, a bit of frustration, because it'd be a perfect chance to give him 70, 90 minutes in a team that's going to be really hard to get into?
It would have been ideal, yeah. Obviously, Joe, we were lucky enough that Joe Rothwell never played in it, so yeah, it's an opportunity for him to get more minutes in his legs. Obviously, he played a little bit less football than Brooksy, so it was important for Joe. But yeah, even the 20-25 minutes that Brooksy played on Saturday, it's exciting for everyone. Gutted he can't be involved, but obviously he'll do some work at the training ground tomorrow with Russ, and so yeah, a little bit disappointing, but he'll be ready to go again on Saturday, and we'll be fresh for that, which will be a nice bonus, I suppose.
It was great those first 2 touches where he didn't care of something and put it through someone else's legs. I thought it just sort of showed the away fans exactly what you can do.
He looked really panicked, didn't he? Obviously he's got huge quality. We were really desperate to try and get him in, and really pleased we have done. And I'm sure the fans are going to see loads and loads of more of that composure and ability in the final third in the coming weeks, which is great for us.
When I asked Russell on Saturday I didn't ask what the team would be, did he know what the team would be? And he said that he hadn't thought about it yet. Is that something that you do this morning, or have you done it already today?
Yeah, we've discussed it. We throw a few messages about yesterday in the staff group.
So you're not switching off completely then?
Not completely. I just make sure my wife's not looking when I'm texting, so I'm present with the family. I get that mentioned a lot, but no, we throw the odd message about. Obviously, we'll sit and watch a little bit of football yesterday. We talk about different stuff that happens in the games we're watching. But yeah, we'd have had discussions probably on the coach on the way back Saturday a little bit, just throwing a few ideas around and how it might look. And then today we made sure we were in nice and early, get the game boxed off, what we want to show at 12 o'clock today for the lads, but also what's important for training today, but also the team, and what's going to be needed to win the game tomorrow.
That's what, cheers, mate. Good luck.